Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want to be the last people to say that to you. Today we're going to be talking about Old School Raw and the Wyatts.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Carlos. Let's get going. We've been watching Old School Raw. We were watching Old School Raw. It was a good show. Very entertaining. A lot better than the Christmas special. Like we said before, it was mostly like a family show.
Yeah.
This one was a lot better. Even though things didn't really progress, it was just like a really good show overall. One of the first times where I was genuinely happy to see old people come back.
Yeah, it's the only time nostalgia was allowed to take over the show. I definitely have to say the matches where they mixed older superstars and the newer ones, it was really entertaining.
Legends.
I apologize. The legends.
Because we don't want to call them old, so the legends.
So the legends and the newer superstars, it was really good. It was fun to watch, especially the what was the match? It was CM Punk and the New Age Outlaws versus.
I have to talk about the New Age Outlaws in a minute, but go ahead. Yeah, the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, that match in particular was good. What was your favorite match, bro?
That is my favorite match, actually. The New Age Outlaws, they're one of those like teams that they're old, but they come back, and when they do come back, because they don't come back often, and they don't come back long enough to actually be consistent enough to win a championship or anything like that. But when they do come out, they know how to rock a crowd, and they make me very happy anytime they come out. Like that's one of those teams where like I wouldn't mind if they came back. I wouldn't necessarily want them to win a championship, because I don't want somebody like the primetime players to be held back, the Real Americans to be held back. I don't think the Real Americans should be on a team, but I don't want them to be held back.
Yeah.
But I think having them on the show, anytime they're on the show, I'm happy. I'm generally, they're very good on the mic, so they're really good. It's kind of like Too Cool when they come out. You don't want them necessarily to stay all the time, but that's a really good, gimmick, like something that was fun to watch. Rikishi. One thing I do have to say though, I wish the Usos would have come out with them.
That's what I was gonna say though. The Too Cool match, that was my personal favorite because I haven't seen those guys in a while, and it was entertaining to see them come out and dance and Rikishi do whatever the hell he thought he was doing.
It would have been nice to see the Usos come out.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd give that an A, just because it was old school. Again, not really much story going on there. Just an A show, just for, like you said, only time where it was appropriate to feel nostalgic about the show. One thing that we will mention is the Wyatts. Like we said before, we're going to talk about the Wyatts and Daniel Bryan coming out. I think genius.
It was a great. I think that pairing would do a lot for both careers. Well, not necessarily for the two bigger guys, but definitely Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. I think that pairing could do a lot for their careers, especially Daniel Bryan, because he's at the point where he really went from being underdog to being top dog to being passed over. So now he can use this as fuel for WrestleMania, and he can get an even bigger crowd behind him.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think what they're doing with Daniel Bryan is actually very good. Daniel Bryan's doing a great job at, I feel like it's hard for some characters, like, we've talked about Randy Orton. He doesn't look good as a face, ever. Yeah. John Cena would probably never look good as a heel.
Again, because when he started out his career, he was a great heel. He was pleasantly annoying.
But now you probably he'll never what I'm saying is he'll never look good as a heel. Just certain characters who they're kind of just
The Miz as a face.
They just look awkward.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is doing a great job at he looks good as a heel, he looks great as a face. Regardless, you're gonna like him, but when he was in Team Hell No as a heel initially, great. When they turned him into a face, he was great. When he lost his championship to the Big Show, I believe it was, great.
What are you referring to, sir?
When the whole AJ Lee story came
Sheamus.
on. Oh, it was
Sheamus, yeah.
You're right, yeah, it was the Sheamus, and I'm thinking...
WrestleMania.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, then he was amazing as a heel. The crowd just supports him. They'll chant no or they'll chant yes. Regardless, they love him. And he's doing a great job at looking very good as a heel. As opposed to, some superstars, like when they go into heel, they just look... Alberto Del Rio, he looks awkward regardless if he's a face or a heel.
Yeah.
But he looks better as a face, but when he's a heel, he should never talk. When he's a face, he sounds good on the mic, but... No, go ahead.
It's just, are you sure you mean he should never talk when he's a heel or a face?
He should never talk when he's a heel.
Okay.
I think he when he's on the mic when he's a face, even though I hate he's annoying, but it makes sense when he's a face. I like Alberto Del Rio as a face. I think he's better as a heel, but for his mic skills, I like him more as a face.
His in-ring performance, you prefer him to be a heel?
A heel,
okay.
Yeah. Like he looks awkward because his mic skills are that of a face. His in-ring performance is that of a heel, so he just looks awkward regardless. But I don't know if I'm making myself clear. What I'm trying to say is some superstars just look awkward when they're trying to do either or.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan looks good doing both.
Yes.
And Alberto Del Rio is the complete opposite. He looks awkward doing both. That's because he has conflicting personalities where he's very charismatic, and at the same time, he has very good in-ring skills as a heel. So Daniel Bryan's the complete opposite. He can hone both skills. He can be great as a heel, great as a face. Now, Daniel Bryan and Wyatt are gonna team up together this tomorrow. We're a little behind on schedule. We haven't done the last 3, so they're gonna be teaming up tomorrow. And I was genuinely excited. I would have been excited to see Daniel Bryan team up with Luke Harper or Eric Rowan, but
him and Bray Wyatt. Yes,
that's really good. I'm very excited for that. It's like you said, I think it's going to be great for both careers, especially Bray Wyatt. Like I said before, I'm a huge Bray Wyatt fan now. I wasn't before. I don't really watch NXT, but now, thanks to the WWE Network, hint, hint, we'll be talking about that next. I'm going to be watching a lot more of that. I'm going to be watching a lot more of these up-and-comers come out. But I'm very happy to see Bray Wyatt's getting a little bit more on the scene there, because for a while he was there, but it's just he was injured and he didn't really do much. He would just kind of sit there. But it's like I said before, this guy in the ring, he's so fresh, he's so nice.
And people never knew about his in-ring skills when he was with Nexus because Husky Harris rarely had matches.
Right. He's a big athletic guy. I mean, people talk about the Big Show, and Big Show, nothing against him. He's huge and he's athletic, but this guy, Husky Harris, Bray Wyatt,
yeah,
he runs, dude. He's like just as athletic as Daniel Bryan. So I'd love to see them together in in-ring matches.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see, especially if he keeps it creepy, because I love it when Bray Wyatt's creepy. When he's doing, like I said before, when he did that thing where he was doing like a crab walk and he ran towards, like that he's just amazing. Very good. So that's mainly what we were going to talk about there. On another note, do you remember when we were at the beginning of the show and Roddy Piper, they were stirring up the pot asking who's better than who?
Yeah. I really enjoyed that because Dean Ambrose, he was being cocky as usual, and Seth Rollins was confident. He wasn't cocky. He was just being confident and being smug. And Roman Reigns sat back just
with this look on his face.
Looked like I could take on anyone, and he sure enough he did. Later that night, it was a really good match.
You know what I really like about that match? How it ended with Dean Ambrose helping him win, because on one end, Roman Reigns won. On the other end, Dean Ambrose is going to have that, well, you wouldn't have won without me, and that's going to cause that conflict. And I think that's a really good way for the Shield to go. Yeah,
for the storyline, that was great, but I wish the match had ended without interference. I see what you're saying, but if CM Punk and Roman Reigns were just to go head-to-head with no outside interference...
Oh, it'd bring more... Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh, that would have been a great match.
I think they should eventually do that, but I think he's going straight for face. I think they're going to make him a face very quickly. I don't think he's going to have much opportunity to be a heel by himself. And I hope his career doesn't go like... I'm not saying at all he's going to end up like Ryback, because Ryback, he kind of has a mouth on him, and he's kind of his own person. If you haven't read on the Bleacher Report, there's a little bit going on with Ryback, and I recommend you take a look and read into that. But Roman Reigns seems like a nicer kind of person. Yeah. Even though he's brutal in the ring, he just seems like he's a little more family-friendly, company-friendly. Yeah. So I'm hoping his career doesn't end up like Ryback's, where he's about to become World Heavyweight Champion or WWE Champion, and then kind of ends up, mid-carding. Not even mid-carding, just kind of there,
I also hope his reign doesn't get stunted. Like we saw a lot of bigger superstars. Mason Ryan came. Do you remember Mason Ryan?
Yeah, I remember Mason Ryan.
He came in for a good 1 or 2 months, had one match, and that was about it.
You're saying big as in big guys, not big as in big superstars.
No. Not big in name, big in stats.
Size. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember him. David Otunga, Bobby Lashley. He was champion, but even he was kind of stunted there for a little bit. He didn't go too far. Yeah, I know what you're saying. A lot of big guys, and it's sad because you kind of think WWE is founded upon its big guys. I don't necessarily like seeing too many big guys there, but some big guys are really good. Like, I don't love seeing Big Show out there all the time, but every now and again a good Big Show match is great. Like that Brock Lesnar Big Show match, I'm really excited for it. Just because it's like out of nowhere, kind of, you didn't know what was going to happen, and it's a throwback to a classic match as well, where they broke the ring basically. So looking forward to that.
That was a really, really good match.
So that's a great great idea with having big guys. But I get what you're saying. I hope he doesn't get himself stunted because his spear is amazing.
Yeah, yes, he should just. We feel the same way about Roman Reigns' spear as we do about Randy Orton's punt. He should just go out spearing people and not say a word.
Yeah, it's like when Edge used to spear someone. It's like, yeah, Edge would lead up to it, but it's like it would come out of nowhere as well. So it's like it's such a beautiful spear. But here's the thing about Reigns. He's such a big guy. When he spears someone, it looks like it really, really hurts. Like, you kind of feel bad for the guy, whoever got speared. Like, it's a show and everything, but you're just like, dude, that kind of gotta hurt a little bit.
Do you remember back in ECW One Night Stand? Mm-hmm. It was John Cena versus RVD. Edge came through the crowd with a helmet on, and he speared the ever-living life out of John Cena.
Yeah.
That moment had me just...
You know why their spears look so good? It's because sometimes when people spear, their feet are still on the ground. When these two men spear, their feet are off the ground. They look like they're kind of flying.
They lunge at you.
Yeah, they lunge at you. So it looks like it really hurts. And it looks like it hurts really bad. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to seeing, is a lot more spears. I can cut it. What? Just wait 3 seconds between so I can find an easy cut point.
All right. There's a rumor going on out there. They're going to unify the U.S. title and Intercontinental title?
Yeah, I've heard about that, but I haven't read about it.
Okay.
If you know more about it, we can talk about it.
No, I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, I know. It's been a rumor for a while, ever since they unified the U.S. Championship.
Yeah, there's not much information about it, just the fact that
I think they should.
Dean Ambrose and Big E are headed for a match at Elimination Chamber. They're going to spark a storyline between them, but that's about it.
Are we done talking about Roman Reigns?
Yeah, there's nothing else to say.
What was I saying? What was the last thing we said about it?
You said how they leave their feet when they spear, and so it seems like it really hurts.
Okay, let's just cut this one here. I mean, this guy, not only that, but it's like, he looks menacing. So what I'm actually interested in seeing is how they're going to make him a face. If they're going to make him a face, how exactly is it that... I'm not sure because I haven't heard him too much on the mic. I even said when he first came out, he made me feel awkward. The way he looked into, he didn't look like he kind of honed it. He's really honed his skills as a heel. He looks really good as a heel. So I kind of want to see how they're going to flip it to where he's a face. How how they're going to do that. I wonder if they're going to team him with anyone. Do you think he's going to go solo, or do you think he's going to end up teaming again?
I think what you don't know is that Roman Reigns used to be a face when he was in NXT.
All right.
And so really, I think they just give him a similar gimmick. Or something, that allows him to be as charismatic as he is with the Shield, but as a face.
Okay. And what was it? Did you watch NXT?
I watched some of his matches because when the Shield first came out, I knew nothing about them except Seth Rollins, and so I went back to see Dean Ambrose's performances and Roman Reigns' performances. Roman Reigns, he was a pretty loose, fun. In the ring and out of the ring, he would be very interactive with the crowd while he was having his matches. And so...
I want to see the transition period, though, because what I don't want to see is one day he's the Shield member, the next minute he's in the middle of the ring, hyping the crowd. Because that'd just be awkward and that'd just be weird. I mean, they could put in the long run, no one would notice that, but it's just kind of like one of those things. Again, Miz is a face... One night, he's a heel the next night. He's a face at the beginning of a segment and a heel at the beginning of a segment and a face at the end of a segment. So that's just what I don't want to see, things like that, where it's just kind of insulting to the viewers.
In terms of Roman Reigns' transition, are you suggesting an injury?
Not an injury, no, not at all. What I'm suggesting is more of a heated battle between either Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns, or something where it's like Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, or sorry, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Something where slowly but surely they get more of that, you know, like it can take maybe, you know, I don't mind if it takes a month for his full face turn.
I wasn't suggesting an actual injury. I mean a scripted injury, like when they injured The Miz so he could shoot for the Marine.
So you're saying injure him on script, have him out for a few weeks, and come back as a face?
Yes.
I think that's the same thing. It's like he's one minute he's a heel, the next minute he's a face. I think you remember when his eye got messed up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now let's say something like that happened in the ring where Dean Ambrose speared, or you know, he hit Roman Reigns. He's out. He comes back the next week. He's pissed, and then over time there's a feud between those two. Dean Ambrose, you know, feels more of a heel role, and then Roman Reigns is more of a face. Seth Rollins is the only one where I'm not sure what they would want to do with him, because him and Reigns are obviously the two favorite. Dean Ambrose, again, nothing against him, just not leader of the Shield material. I think he'd be a great singles competitor, even if he's ferocious as a singles competitor, just kind of how he is now, just not a member of the Shield. I just want to know what they're going to do with Seth Rollins, really, because it's Roman Reigns going to be a face. Dean Ambrose will more than likely stay a heel, but what about Seth Rollins?
They could go either way with Seth, honestly, because...
But do you think they'll team him with Dean Ambrose? Or do you think they'll team him with Roman Reigns? Do you think they'll leave him by himself? Like, do you think they're just going to completely break up the group?
I think they're going to completely break up the group just to save the momentum that Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, for that case, may pick up. Because if they team Roman Reigns with Seth Rollins, then it's going to stop the momentum of, if not both of them, for sure Seth Rollins. If they team him with Dean Ambrose, then he's really a lackey. He's not a proven superstar. And so I feel like if they make him a heel, he would be great. I'd love to see him perform in the ring. If they made him a face, it'd be a little bit difficult because I'm not really sure how his mic skills would work. But I'd still love to see Seth Rollins just a singles competitor.
Just let us know what you guys think. I mean, you know, again, these are just opinion based, and whenever we talk about something that's fact, it's usually we say we got it from somewhere, but this is just opinion based. This is what we think should happen or what we want to happen. So if you guys have any other ideas, you know, of course, let us know. We're just gonna switch gears once more. Some other things that happened on Old School Raw, where Jake the Snake Roberts came back, which was another one of those moments where it felt good to see an old guy come back. We saw the return of and I can't remember his name.
Before you continue, Sergeant Slaughter had a return, and it was kind of funny. It was pretty funny, actually, because he was a referee for a match between I'm sorry, the name's slipping my... The Great Khali and what's his name? The Rhodes Scholar. What does... It's Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow.
I was like, let's see if he can get that.
Oh, you just...
Yeah, I mean, come on. It happens, though. I can't remember the guy who was with the Great Khali. Him.
Rajan Singh.
Singh. He was there. He was there, too. That I just could not remember his name. But he was there as well. Yeah, that match with Sergeant Slaughter was very funny. If you wanted to continue, sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just wanted to say I found it funny how he choked out... the name again. The guy. Damien Sandow. I loved how he choked him out.
Yeah, and it was a funny ending to the match. If you didn't watch the match, watch it. Spoiler alert. He didn't look at Damien Sandow with his hand on the rope. Was it Damien Sandow? It was Damien Sandow, right?
No, Khali had his foot under, I think, and he missed it. Oh, no, that was...
Damien Sandow was tied up. He grabbed the rope, and he didn't know... Was it Damien Sandow in the match?
Yeah, it was Damien Sandow versus Great Khali, because I remember Damien Sandow being choked out.
Do you know what pisses me off? Just a month ago, Damien Sandow was one of my top picks to become, you know, maybe at least world heavyweight champion. And now we can barely remember if he was in the match now. Like, that is just sad. And it's one of those things where Damien Sandow had the potential to be very, very, very good. He worked the crowd. Anytime he talked, you know, the "you're welcome" thing, that was beautiful. And now it's just kind of like, wait, he was in the match with the Great Khali? You remember the Great Khali over Damien Sandow at this point. You remember Sergeant Slaughter and
Rajan Singh over
Damien Sandow. That's sad.
It was a great ending to the Money in the Bank match, though, having Damian Sandow turn on Cody Rhodes. And when we saw that feud, we were like, hey, these guys can go to the top. And Cody Rhodes is fired, and then he comes back and he goes on this great tag team run.
Damian Sandow
wins the match, and he's irrelevant.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant. Loses to John Cena. I'm not mad that he lost to John Cena. That was great for, the heavyweight championship, or WWE championship feud kind of thing. But at least, fall back on like a IC championship, US championship. Fall back on something.
He should definitely be more aggressive, though, because now that you mentioned that John Cena match, I just remember him beating John Cena down with.
I thought he was going to win. I didn't, I wanted him to win.
Yeah.
I knew John Cena was going to win, and I knew that was best for business at that point, but I really wanted Damian Sandow to win because that was.
That briefcase, he just.
Yeah. He beat him. And I think that's good. There have been rumors around about the IC Championship and the United States Championship being merged together. I think nobody would be better to bring that in than Damian Sandow. I would say, Cody Rhodes probably, but, he's already champion.
Yeah.
He's doing his own thing. But Damian Sandow would be great. Antonio Cesaro would be great. You know what? If Antonio Cesaro and Damian Sandow went head-to-head for the WWE Intercontinental Championships and the US Championships, I would be a very happy guy. I think that would be great because both of those guys in ring are beautiful, and on the mic, even people, I don't think give him enough credit. Damian Sandow on the mic, I think he can rock a crowd. Man.
Yeah,
like, with not too many words either. He can just say what he wants. It's kind of like the Bad News Bear kind of thing. Bad News Bear, he doesn't say too many things, but he pisses you off when he talks. So
I love Bad News Bear. He's so annoying.
I'm waiting for him to come back, and that's what I'm saying about Antonio Cesaro. And these are three guys who we say 90% of the roster should shut up. These three guys should. These three guys.
They should talk.
They should talk all the time because they make you very mad, and it's like you love to hate them.
You know what I really like most about them unifying the U.S. and Intercontinental title, though? The mid-card is going to be a lot more important. Because now there are only going to be 4 major titles. That'd be the World Heavyweight title, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the U.S. Intercontinental title, the Tag Team titles, and the Diva Championship. So that means all of these tournaments and everyone's going to be fighting for one title.
Number 1 contenders matches should come back.
Beat the clock challenges. I hope they unify them very soon because that's when things.
And you're saying, and this is coming off the fact that Big E Langston is going to be in a match with
Dean Ambrose. Yeah.
And when is this?
It is rumored to be scheduled for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Okay, that's gonna be good then. I would love to see that. I don't know who I'd rather see with the championship. I don't know if I would rather see Dean Ambrose. Here's the thing, Dean Ambrose, great. I love watching Dean Ambrose, but it's just like not as a member of the Shield. So I'd love to see his, because I know they're not going to make Big E a heel. So if Dean Ambrose gets, and I hate cheap heels. This is the thing. If you're going to be a cheap heel, at least win in the ring. Be a cheap heel, but win in the ring. That's my big beef against Randy Orton right now. What they're doing with him is like he's a great heel. Why are you giving him cheap wins? And make him win legitimately. If he's going to talk smack, at least make him prove it. And actually, he did that against
Big E.
No, not Big E. He did it against I'm here to tell the world. Dolph Ziggler. He did it against Dolph Ziggler, and the reason I can't remember Dolph Ziggler's name is because he has a concussion and he's been out of the ring for a few weeks, and I just kind of want to see Dolph Ziggler back. But if you're not in the ring for a while, I have trouble remembering your name. But yeah, he did it against Randy Orton. Beat down Dolph Ziggler in a way that you kind of saw. Wow, he's actually back. Yeah, so it was a really good beatdown. Speaking of Dolph Ziggler, I don't want to feel like I just kind of dissed this man. Great, because I really respect Dolph Ziggler, but damn, 2 concussions in less than a year. Like WWE needs to watch him because he's getting hurt a lot. And I know the first one was a mistake. But this second one was also a mistake, but it was because of Ryback being a little too aggressive, and there have been rumors that he's been overly aggressive in the ring. So I don't want to see Dolph Ziggler go because of something like that. I want to see him become the next Shawn Michaels. Kind of like been there for a really long time.
Yeah.
Multiple world championship reigns, long championship reigns. I don't want to see him just go out on his peak, like around his, not his peak, because I think he has a lot more in him, but around the time of his prime, at least. I don't want to see him going in his prime.
I actually am excited about the unification match for more than just the fact that they're going to unify him in the mid-card. Do you remember when Big E and Dean Ambrose fought for the United States title?
That was a good match.
Both those were two great matches, so I just can't wait to watch that happen when Big E has everything on the line. He has his own title to lose and another title to gain. Dean Ambrose has the same opportunity. Just that'd be a great match.
You know what makes me feel good about Big E winning that match, though? Mark Henry was out of the picture for a while. Because of Brock Lesnar, of course. He's F5'd him and just threw him through the barricade. But he's out for a while. So I'm actually excited to see what they're going to do with Big E, since we know, at least for now, they're not going to team them up together.
Yeah.
So that'd be, again, great match. Whoever wins, they just need to carry that title. I feel like Big E's great in the ring, and so is Dean Ambrose, but their mic skills are just not there. Dean Ambrose has great mic skills. I just don't know how to put it into words. He's just not fully there yet. And I feel like Big E, on the other end of being a face, he's just not there yet. He just sounds too generic. He needs to have his 5 count needs to come back. I think that would be a great start for him. He could be a cocky face. I don't care. Just make him, make him interesting. He's a big guy. They can do a lot with him.
I hope that if Dean Ambrose were to win that match, they would do it after the Shield is broken up, because I don't want to have him have 2 titles and still be the leader of the Shield. That'd be kind of annoying.
What do you mean by 2? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. If he's by himself, he can have both titles, but not as a leader of the Shield, because that'll be way more arrogance than he needs to be. Actually, if they do win and he's part of the Shield, then that'll make him even more mad, and then maybe Seth Rollins could end up being the champion, and actually, that'd be really good.
Guys, you didn't see it, but I just had a mini heart attack. Thank you, sir.
Actually, so hopefully that does happen.
I take back what I just said. I retract that statement.
But I mean, we can just see. I mean, hopefully, WWE doesn't drop the ball on this. They've been doing so good lately, and I kind of want to see them keep going. I mean, here are the things that they've done good, in my opinion. Unifying the championships, the 2 big championships. Daniel Bryan going to the Wyatts, breaking up the Shield, even though it kind of pains me, but I think it's a good decision in the long run. If they are going to unify the championships, the IC and the US championships, great. I'd be happy for that. One thing I can't believe they actually did is let Caitlyn go. She was an amazing superstar, and I was actually happy to finally see her back, and then find out she was retired. I mean, from what I've read, she's happy. So I'm happy for her. Hopefully she continues to do what she's doing. More AJ. Way more AJ. Just keep AJ going. We don't talk too much about the Divas division, and that's because there's not much to talk about the Divas division, except for the fact that AJ Lee is in it.
And her only competition, other than Natalya, just left. She just retired.
Yeah.
Which is Caitlyn. So, I mean...
Yeah. So, I mean, unless you watch Total Divas, then the Divas division is just not there. I wish they had more of a TNA Divas division, because they would just... They have so much potential, and it's like they have these really cheesy gimmicks, like Alicia Fox, for example, where it's just like, what is she doing? I'm sure she's a great superstar. Why do you have her there doing stupid stuff? They let Beth Phoenix go. Beth Phoenix was my favorite superstar, and people were like, they always looked at me like, you like Beth Phoenix? I'm like, yes, I love Beth Phoenix. She's a beast. She just dominates in the ring, and then her acting skills got even better as like time went on. So it's like she developed, and then she just left. Same thing was happening with Caitlyn. She, amazing in-ring performer. Her in-ring skills were just starting to, her acting was getting a lot better, and then just let her go. So that's why we don't really talk much about the Divas division, because whenever they're getting someone who's really good, I'm glad AJ's still there, but whenever someone's starting to develop, they end up leaving. So
Aksana came in, and she was a great heel.
Oh yeah,
she should have stayed Antonio Cesaro's manager. That would have been great, because she was so annoying, and you just felt bad for Teddy Long because he just got played, and that was Aksana. She had her peak, and then that was about it. Now
that's AJ's manager, or who's AJ's bodyguard? Tamina. That's another one. I need to start seeing her in more matches, because she looks like she could be the next big diva. You don't have very many big divas, so she'd be good. But yeah, I know what you're saying about Aksana. Do you remember like Stacy Keibler and all those other divas? Like, what happened, man? Like, you had all these great divas who, like, not only brought in that like whole, they're a diva, but they also can fight.
Yeah.
Now it's like all these divas, like, they're barely on TV, and when they are lumped together in huge matches where none of them can really show themselves off. I've said this before and I'll say it again. AJ Lee had an entire match where she skipped around the entire ring until she came in and actually lost the match, and she was still more relevant than all the other divas. And I'm happy. I love AJ, but come on, you got to bring all the other divas back. But that's all we have this time for C Squared. I'm Carlos.
I'm Cameron.
Have a good day, guys. We'll probably put out a few more podcasts within the few coming weeks since we did miss a few. But stay tuned. Our next one should be about the WWE Network. That's usually what we're probably going to focus on, and maybe a little bit more about the road to WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, and things like that. But next one's definitely going to be about the WWE Network. Just stay tuned about that, because if you haven't read about it, it's a great deal. We're going to talk a little bit more about it next time, though. So again, I've been Carlos.
And this has been Cameron.
Take it easy, guys.